So you sell houses. Have you ever thought of selling people?
Selling people is illegal, Jeffrey.
What keeps you in there? Because I think like real estate, it's just like a beast. I heard like the first year is kind of like the hardest. You're like 10 years in?
7 years. Well, 7 years as an agent, but I've had, like, before I got my license, we had rental properties. So we did that, and then I got my license. We sold some of those, flipped some homes. Now we're back to the rentals. We like that better.
Do you invest in property as well as sell it?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm an investor, but I also work with investors as clients as well as people.
Because as I was reading, this is kind of like more there's like this side of me that just knows about it. Like if you can become your own agent, then there's more room for profit because you can keep that few percent or something like that.
Yeah, about 3%, 2 or 3% depending on the market, like who has control, buyers or sellers. And that's kind of how I got into real estate. Like I got my license so we could invest more and get that savings, and then after I started working with clients here and there, I started to really like it and felt very fulfilled doing it, and then I got really, really good at it. And
yeah, she's like, this is why my grandparents own slaves. This is a fulfilling feeling.
So I learned doing like genealogy and stuff. I think it was like my great grandmother was like a freed slave in Texas or something. So
like a Mexican slave?
I have no idea. Her name was Mary Jane Baxter, so she might have been black. I know
the only reason I think Baxter is a black name is because of That's a Raven.
Yes.
So if that show never...
That didn't even connect, but now I'm like, okay, maybe she was black. I don't know. I'm sure it says on like some document somewhere like what her race or coloring was.
No, for sure. It's just Baxter only comes up in two situations. Like That's a Raven, and for some reason you named your dog that.
Well, isn't it like the Meow Mix commercial? It's Baxter. Is that the one?
I don't know.
Cat?
Unless it's an ad on TikTok, I probably haven't seen it anymore.
Oh, that's Meow Mix is like so old.
No. Well, kind of going back on the real estate. How is it the difference between getting past the first year and then year 7? Is there like is it just kind of rinse and repeat, or is there still like skill you have to maintain?
There's definitely skill because the market's always changing. So what I'm like most proud of is how much volume my team does in our current market, because I mean combined we've all been in the business a long time and we lean on each other's skills and experiences, but compared to people that only sell a couple homes a year, like especially in a competitive market like we have now, it's like those agents just don't know what it takes to get an offer accepted. So like especially in this market, if their buyer gets an offer accepted, they're probably paying way too much because they don't know what you need.
No, I was definitely confused the first time I like made an offer because they said like, what's your story? And I'm like, a story? Like, what
really?
It's like American Idol.
Yeah. Did the listing agent ask that, or was
they just
the
said,
agent representing you?
Because originally I wanted to have a casita. Like I wanted to have, a home and then just have something like an in-law or something like that. So I could rent that out or just rent it to my mother. Like, oh my gosh, that's a great story. People are going to eat that up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and that helps. We call them love letters that you write. Like, this is, especially if you have kids and like, or a pet, or you're starting a family, like people who have made a lot of memories in a home, they like to know when the home is passing on to somebody else who's going to make really great memories.
How much does that play into a factor versus love letter versus, I can make an extra $10,000?
It depends. It's like really a case-by-case basis. So for some people, they just want a guarantee. They want a quick close, so they'll go with like a cash offer or an offer that's just willing to waive appraisal contingencies, things like that. Other people are open to a buyer that's financing and a little bit more risk there to get more money. And then some people, they will, like, their heart just melts if they read the love letters. I mean, when I represent sellers, if my sellers have told me price is the most important and our net amount is the most important thing, I don't even let them read the love letters. So
no, man.
And some agents don't.
Have you run into that situation? Because I'm not from the South, so I don't get it. But you know, people say like sweetheart or something like that. Do you have that happen where you're just like I don't know, I'm trying to define if they're trying to kind of patronize you a little bit or if that's just the way they speak.
A little bit. Like I don't like being called, especially like it bothers me less when it's like somebody I've gotten to know. And like, because I have friends that like, they call me honey, Danielle Williams calls everyone diva, like that's just her thing. But then like people I'm talking to on the phone for the first time, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of patronizing me, calling me sweetheart, especially as a woman, like that's hard to hear. Yeah, because
even like, I try to say it like being a character, it just... For me, it takes a lot of mental energy to try to find a place to put that, like in a sentence. So
yeah, it's got to fit your personality. So
how's it been making that transition to comedy and doing that also?
It hasn't been terrible. Like when even like talking on the phone with clients for real estate and as well as meeting with them in the office, we have like a script, a presentation that we do. So it is kind of like giving a performance where comedy is performing. I mean, obviously being on stage with everybody sitting down and watching you from the dark and you're there in the spotlight took a little getting used to versus like having a conversation with a buyer or seller because it's a two-way street there. But as far as like being able to memorize what I'm going to say or think of how the best way to come across in a bit, it came naturally because I already had kind of that experience with real estate. Okay, if I say something this way, this is how it's going to come off versus...
Well, I think it's funny. It's because I'm kind of like coming from an office position, kind of like it's easier to be funny in that setting because they're not expecting it, you know? Yeah. People kind of, if you say like, how are you doing? Oh, well, I just killed an antelope. They're like, that's great. Like they're kind of just like on an autopilot. Like I've seen a video of this guy just kind of like, you know how I know everyone's computer generated? It's like, oh, have a nice night. Watch out for the buffalo crossing the moon. They're like,
they're like what? You know. Yeah, and that even bothers me with like getting to know people. I don't like the small talk. A lot of times I like to really like get to know people, and that's like real estate. I get a lot of that, but I don't know, after a while it's like I'm just trying to sell you a house and this is fake versus like I don't know, in the comedy scene, like I'm still at the point where like I'm trying to develop meaningful friendships and it's hard.
I've noticed personally from my experience, because you've been doing it like what, under a year?
Under a year. Yeah, so July will be 1 year.
Yeah, we're almost in the same boat. I think I just have maybe like half a year over you. But I don't know, personally I noticed it's really, for me, it's only through like consistency that's built rather than me just saying what's up. Yeah. It's just weird. Just like once I just show up and once people start saying hi to me first, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
They know me. Yeah.
Yeah, how is it balancing kind of work? And because I think comedy is a big mental thing as far as selling a house. Even when I was buying a house, that took so much mental energy. I wasn't writing, especially because I'm just trying to see like what's going, like what house, because it's a short time frame.
Yeah, for sure. Like when there's more going on in my personal life or work life, it makes comedy harder and more stressful. And so...
do you still get that mental reprieve from it then? Like if it's stressful, what's the...
From work or from doing stand-up?
Well, if you're stressed out about doing stand-up, I know it's like kind of it's a very fickle emotional thing as far as the highs and the lows. Yeah. But if you're consistently getting stressed, like you're like, why do I do this?
Yeah. After a while, it's like, okay, like reground. Like, what are my goals here? Like I have funniest person with a day job, and that's kind of been stressing me out.
What day?
What day? It let's see, April 12th, next Tuesday, so a week from today.
All right, move on. Okay.
So, are you saying like what day do I do what job? Or,
no.
What day is my show?
Plug. Okay.
Okay, plug. Yes. So yeah, I've been kind of stressed out about that competition because it's a competition. But talking to a friend of mine that's on the same night, he's like, I'm not thinking about this as a competition. I'm like, yeah, really? Like, neither am I. I think what's psyching me out the most is being in front of probably what people have told me is probably going to be one of the biggest crowds that I've ever performed for.
100%.
So that's like, I want to do well. Like, I don't really care how I stack up and measure up against other people, because I'm so new that I just want to have fun with it.
Yeah, if anything, it's a blessing for you to have the opportunity to get footage in front of such a live crowd, because I went to World Series of Comedy and I performed in front of, the ceiling was so high and it was like so fast. It was just weird that only half of my room laughed at the joke, and then like the pockets, and seeing like, I was like, I'm pausing for laughter, but only the back of the room is laughing at my jokes, and the front of the room is just waiting. Like, okay, are you gonna go on?
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. When I went last year, it was the first time I saw like I couldn't get a seat. Like I couldn't just walk in and just like squeeze myself in.
Yeah. Did you compete last year?
I didn't make the cut.
Okay. And I'm wondering, like, did I only make the cut because I'm a woman? Like, I heard very few women applied, but there's 2 other women, at least that I know of, already on my night. So I'm like, maybe more did apply.
Well, I kind of think women just get more opportunities because there's a scarcity of them in the scene. So where do you feel like you're just getting a spot because you're a woman versus, like, I'm getting this because, I'm really funny?
Sometimes I fear that. I mean, a lot of times, like, I'm the only woman on a show, and other times there's producers that I'm like, when are you going to book me? When are you going to book me? And they finally do, and I'm like, but I see other people getting booked, multiple times before they get to me, and I do start to second guess myself. But I mean, I think I definitely bring like a unique female perspective. Being a mom and a woman, and just kind of a different style of woman. Like, I'm a clean comic, and very self-deprecating, which some people are, but I feel like dirty jokes, like, they're not as self-deprecating. Like, you can make fun of other people or talk about an experience that you had with a partner, and you're kind of making fun of them versus yourself. And for me to stay clean, it's like, it's me, or I can make a joke. Like, I do have some jokes about my kids and about my husband, but I try to, stay above the belt because I have to go home and share the rest of my week with them. Because
I think everyone has the unique perspective, but that's when it just comes through to writing and kind of the audience and what so. Because personally, it's like I don't like saying names, but personally a comic, they're like, how'd you like how's my set? I was like, yeah, all my older friends liked your set. Like, now, because we just started, so I didn't really know like how to phrase it. I think he just gets offended, but I was like, yeah, my older friends liked your set, but not really my younger friends. I was just kind of said that off the bat. He's like, oh, that's kind of fucked. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So I think that comes into play. But for sure. Do you ever think like, because I don't know, I'm pretty upfront. I think when somebody told me about photography, it's just like, if your friends are coming to you for photos, just get better and then they'll come.
Yeah.
Where does the patience lie? Or it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get more people out to shows. I feel like a lot of shows that I'm able to like pack the house, it's like, because I'm giving away comps. And it's like, I want them, but it's almost like, since I'm just starting out, it's like, okay, first taste is free, and then you have to start paying for shows. Lucky, like with JP's, we're doing a lot of clean shows, and it's good for the club. It's getting them their name out, and so they're like, give as many comps as you want. And so I've been blessed to have that opportunity, but other shows, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get people out, but are they going to pay, anywhere from, I've done shows that are like $5 a head to like $30 a head. And some of them have been packed. Like, I did a show at a venue that I think they were still charging $30 a head. I've done that show a couple times. And the first time I did it, like, we didn't have a good crowd. The second time, the crowd was great. And I don't know if they changed the ticket price or it was just a different night, better time. But
yeah, I think when you get to that awkward space, because I was talking to Anthony about that, and he said like, I'm just like, you're doing shows, so many shows, but you don't have a fan base at all. So it's just like, I personally, because I don't have a network out here, like I don't have like friends outside of the comedy community. especially not working from home. I don't have like coworkers, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna post because I saw that Mike Dapper's like, he just appreciates that you're posting. Like if you post the show, it's just like, that's really cool of you.
Yeah. And so I try to do that, and for shows that I have comps for, I'll invite people specifically, but other times I'm like, I feel terrible, like if I'm posting and nobody shows up, and then just booking a lot of shows, it's like I have some bringer shows that I'm gonna promote really hard, and then other shows that even if they're paying me per ticket, I'm like, well,
I don't know, as person, not that I have like time on you, but personally, I stopped trying to like push so heavy. Because I feel like that just strains relationships. Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to get you into a pyramid scheme. Come watch my show.
Seriously, yes. It's like, okay, where is the Amway presentation part of this program?
No, I feel you. I did that for a few years. I was like when I got out of that, and then shortly after I transitioned into comedy, so I feel like I'm just trying to get people to a meeting again.
Yeah, I did Cutco when I was in college, so knives.
They have nice knives.
They're pretty nice. Like I still have some, but like my father-in-law is a meat cutter, so he has his brand that he prefers, but. Do
you think you're still gonna get to the point? Are you? I don't know. Not that you predict yourself in the future, but there's never a point you should stop promoting shows you're on. Do you think you're gonna try to stop, lean away from like being so attached to people like not coming, or is that always gonna be something conscious? You're like, damn, I didn't bring.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it depends on the venue, because I saw a post, I think a musician posted it, about talking to a club or a bar about like, hey, can my band perform at your bar? And the bar owner's like, well, does your band draw a crowd? And the musician clapped back and he's like, does your bar draw a crowd? And so I feel like it depends on the venue and the show. And like who's headlining. Okay, does the headliner have a big fan base? I always try to bring a few people, but like I was saying, if I have to bring 10 people to a show later this month, that's the show I'm gonna push really hard. And then, the other people are like, oh, that's a bad night. Okay, I have this other night that might work better for you, but I still, like, I stress out about the bringer shows still, which I feel like it's a new thing. Like, as I get more experience and get booked on different venues, it won't be an issue, but I want to build more of a fan base. I talk to people like on TikTok and Instagram. I found people that are local that last month? A month or two ago, I had somebody from Instagram that just met her online and talked to her like, hey, you're local, and started talking about Circle K, and then like, hey, do you want to come do a free comedy show? And I gave her a comp and she came. So
it's weird. Most of the time I run into people and they're like, you do stand up? I'm like, yeah, because I love wearing local merch. If your shirt's under $15, I will for sure buy it.
That's like, a good deal.
I've tried to, like, not that I'm saying lower your prices, but it's like, I can't buy a $40 shirt.
No, that's dumb. Like the amount that, like, frequency with which I spill stuff on myself, no. I cannot be paying that much for clothes.
Like, I'm wearing a shirt I got from basketball camp when I was 16.
Yeah. It's like, the oldies but goodies, like, wash them so many times and they're soft and they fit right, and yeah.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I really jump at the points like, you think it's cool? Come to an open mic with me. Like, I'm very open to the fact, like, let's do an open mic.
Yeah, I'm like, come to a show. Like, don't come see me at an open mic. Even like funniest person with a day job, my husband's like, I want to come and support you at that one, but I'm like so freaked out that I'm like, you know what? Don't come to that one.
I figured that'd be the one to come to.
I know, but I don't know. I still have like a pit in my stomach about it, which I'm sure after I do it, it'll be fine. But it's like, but also when you bring somebody to a show, it's like, are they your guest? Are they your date? And it's like, you're wanting to pay attention to them, but you're also like trying to network and and get to know the other comics.
Yeah, I think as long as if it's like, because you're like in a marriage, right? And it's pretty solid. Yeah, I think at that point, like, they get it. You got to say what's up to people. It's kind of like saying bye at church.
Takes forever. Yeah, we call my husband Chatty Daddy. because it just, it's like, let's go home. I'm hungry.
My buddy brought a girl to Devil's Advocate.
Oh,
I think she just went to come, and then afterwards she didn't even leave with him. Because I mean,
oh my goodness,
it's scary. I mean, like, I mean, like, especially when you go to like a rough mic, it's just it's just like, I'm gonna bomb regardless. Like, I don't like, I'll do decent in most places.
I know it's hit or miss. Like, I went to Wayward, and it was just like a different crowd. Like, everyone was just kind of quiet. And
is that the Thursday one?
It was it last Wednesday or last Thursday?
Okay, I think
it might have been.
Yeah, Grand.
It's right across from the pizza place.
Okay.
Downtown.
Yeah, my buddy just said that. Oh no, I guess it's just hit or miss.
Thursday. It was Thursday because I went to JP's after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It
was a different energy. Like, I don't know.
That's what I was talking about yesterday. I was at Devil's, and it's just like, not that I'm a dirty comic, but it's just the fact that, like, you know, Do Better is great. It's an audience, but for some reason, there's always like a mental like belts, and then it's just like, I felt more comfortable at Devil's, even though I'm bombing. I felt comfortable that I could just, you know,
say whatever. Yeah, you're not worried about having to censor yourself and stuff like that.
So it's just like more, still love both, but you know, it's just like, I don't know, the freeiness. You know?
Yes, I even get that way with Do Better, and I've had comics, like other people of color, that are like, well, you're half Mexican, like you can tell Mexican jokes, but I do second guess myself. I'm like, am I too white to tell this Mexican joke? Even like.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
I know. It's like, and it's like, would it hit harder if I were darker, or
I feel like
whatever?
you'd have to do that. I feel like that you'd have to have like a bit prefacing your come up as a whitewashed Mexican.
And that's something that I'm like trying to rework and do different ways, because it seems like it's the same bit over and over again. And then it'll have like different tags as I come up with new stuff. But
there was one guy, you know, the mic we were just talking about, but he said like someone said like, we don't need a white guy's opinion, and then the guy actually was like, I'm Mexican.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you really can't judge a book by its cover then.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's socially ambiguous. By the year 2020, like, what is it? 2200, everyone's gonna look like Jada Pinkett Smith, just with like bald head and a green suit, just walking around, like in South Park.
Yes, we're all gonna be that, like some form of like frappuccino color. So
everyone's a light skin. You're a light skin.
Yes, I'm a light skin. Yes, but the same thing, like not just with the Mexican jokes. Like I have a lot of jokes about they're what I would call like fat girl jokes. And I'm like, am I too skinny to tell this joke? And like I have a bit about like a double chin, but I've lost weight, and it's like, can people still see my double chin when I'm on stage, like up higher than everyone? Like, does it hit, or am I?
There was one comic, he died because of like, I think like heroin, but he actually like gained weight so he could tell a fat joke.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm way too vain for that. But yeah, like in high school and teen years, even as a young adult, like I struggled with disordered eating, and so it's like, yes, I do have experience with this. Like, I'm not just a skinny girl talking about cookie dough or whatever. Like, it's real.
Yeah, I heard one of the things is like, I forgot who said it, but I was like at work, so it was like, don't be a handsome person trying to act like you're ugly. Like, just like, don't be like super skinny acting like you have fat problems. But then again, I just think it comes through to like kind of setting the tone and introducing.
Yeah, you have to. And yeah, I do have like my beauty jokes, and a lot of them are like, I tell it and then people are still like, oh, you're so pretty, but like I literally, like one of my bits that I have is a real story that like I was at, I won't even name the venue, but the headliner, it was me and another woman, we're the only women on the show, and the headliner on stage calls her the hot comic. He was saying like, oh, the hot comic said something. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, did I just get friend zoned and I'm like married? Like, I didn't know a married person could get friend zoned.
It's like, I just like the option, but you know.
Yeah, but like it happens, because like even like people find out I'm married or I have kids, and then they like put me at a distance. It's like, okay, I'm not going to say just anything to you. Like, you can't just be one of the guys because you're also a mom. But also, like, oh, I can't really, like, flirt with you, so I'm not even gonna, like, bother talking to you.
I've never thought about it that way, personally, with kind of, like, if a girl's in a relationship, totally fine or respect it.
Yeah.
I think it's just what space, because there's different spheres of comics, and it's just, like, you know, I have some friends who are like, shoot it straight. Like, I don't really want to shoot it straight with you, because I know that you get more offended easily than if I do, because...
or the gossip.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true, but I think, like... There's the funniest things like when you have to switch your humor for friend groups, and then sometimes like I was at Devils and we are just like kind of shooting the shit, and I'm just like, and then I don't know, I carried that over to another friend that isn't about there, like, why are you being such a dick? I'm like, my bad.
Sorry, that's another friend can take it, but you obviously can't. Yeah, and I want people to be real with me. I don't want people to feel like, oh, they have to censor me because I do clean comedy or whatever. It's like,
honestly, I don't think anyone thinks like you do clean comedy, because that's not like.
And that's what I want too, though. Like, I don't talk about it a lot because I felt like early on, like I was getting put in a box. Like, I even have like one producer that I'm doing a show for later this month. I'm starting to question, like, next time I see him in person, I'm gonna be like, you know, I do all types of shows. Like, I don't care if I'm the only clean act. I don't care if, you know, all the other acts are X-rated or whatever. Like, I don't just do clean shows. Like, book me anywhere. I might be the only clean act, but that's okay. I want to be like, I want to be funny, and then people are like, oh, you're also clean? I didn't realize because you're so funny.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's weird. I've never been in the atmosphere. It's like you have to be dirty. But yeah.
There's a couple of shows like that are like, they'll even advertise themselves like, this is a dirty show, or this is like, I don't know.
I thought of just making humor. A mic just for fun and just be like, we only put down.
Yes, we only punch down. This is a roast mic.
Just
if you can't take it, don't show up.
If you don't have jokes on autism and gay people.
Then... No, oh my gosh, there's some jokes I've heard that even though like the R word is like, you don't say that, there's some funny jokes I've heard.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like you can say any slur depending with how much confidence you say it with. Because I see it like white people say the N-word, but they say it with so much confidence, you don't even notice
you're
they
like,
say
okay,
it. Like,
no, that's definitely not me.
No, me personally, it's just like, I know people think I'm half black, but I don't have that confidence. Like,
yeah, no. I could not pull that off. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. There's some things I could pull off, but I don't even want to go there.
Do you think of wetback as a racial slur?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't
and
sure.
Beaner. Like, I was making, and even like in high school, like I made a joke, like I had a lot of friends who were Mexican. One of my friends was half Mexican, half Dominican. And I called us like the Beaner crew, and he got so mad. He's like, I'm not a Beaner. Like, I don't know, it's just like...
Not that, well, it's obviously a racial slur, but some people say where it's like the same preface of like, some people are saying what, like, for example, like, you know, fag is as bad as the N-word, but you're not saying the N-word, but you're saying fag. And I'm just like, well, like...
Yeah, I mean, in different context. Like, in England, they call cigarettes fags or faggots. And that's how, like, flaming faggot, like, it's literally on fire.
Yeah, that shit sounds...
a cigarette.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, you're like, I'd buy that. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say it again. I'm a cisgendered straight woman. I'm not going to say... I'm an ally, okay? No, I do actually have a lot of gay friends. I played rugby.
That sounds like...
ASU,
I hate it when people say that.
I have a lot of friends that are people of color. I'm actually a person of color, so I can say this, but no, I played...
Like, my grandma's pretty tan. I could...
Yeah, no. Like, my husband's grandma, she was born in Mexico, but she has, like, no Mexican ethnicity. It's just, like, she was born in Mexico, so she says, I'm Mexican. We're like, no, you're not. Yeah. I say that, but nobody else says it.
Wow. No, token. I have plenty of Hispanic friends.
Yes.
I go out and eat horchata every other Tuesday for Taco Tuesday.
Yum, yum.
Yes. So as a kind of quick wrapping off the last two questions, do you have goals that coincide, that complement real estate and comedy? Because I feel like real estate's a very money heavy thing where you can't really, most people are like, I just want to become a road comic because our lifestyle is $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So for a road comic, we're set. But how's it for you?
I would love to do more out of town shows, and I actually have a few booked, but it's also hard because I have a job that's local as well as a family and bills to pay and whatnot. And so it would be nice to just have like a 9-to-5 remote job, or even like, I don't even know, freelance or whatever that.
Would you be able to go down from that? Because, you know, not saying like what your income is, but when I worked for a property, like a real estate management, he said you got like a 3% check, and I was like, that's literally like 4 times what I make in a year. So I'm not saying that you're that, but I'm just saying.
They're even like, I've slowed down doing more stand-up comedy than real estate, as well as just the market changing a little bit and my priorities shifting a little bit. And so I actually have seen like my income drop a little bit, but I'm also not like a high roller, like making it rain everywhere.
No, there's my buddy. It's always weird because when I talk to comics, they're either like, I'm an Uber driver, or they're like borderline Jeff Bezos on accident.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
No, yeah, it's super. Yeah. It's like no one's like, I make 50,000. It's like I make 27,000, or I make like almost 6 figures. Yeah. Have you has that drop made like a change for your lifestyle, or is it kind of makes the same?
Not really, because I'm pretty like frugal. Like I still I don't just buy the cheapest of whatever, because in a lot of instances, like, you do get what you pay for, but I still I still buy like multi-meal cereal and like so I'm not above store brand stuff and like discount stuff, and I don't wear a lot of like labels as far as clothing goes.
So you were already pretty low maintenance, so there's not really a switch.
Yeah, like I wear a lot of makeup, and like but even then, like I'm not buying like MAC and all these, like, I don't have I did have eyelash extensions for a time, and they like hurt.
Yeah, I just saw your G-Wagon outside, and I'm so I was like,
no, I drive a Honda Accord. It's my 3rd Honda Accord though, so.
I thought it was like a Charger, honestly. It looks
no.
like from the side. I'm like, okay. It looks pretty nice next to my Prius the bumper's falling off of.
No. I mean, I don't judge, like, because I feel like a person is like so much more than their stuff or where they live or whatever. And so, which is hard, because in real estate, like, you kind of judge, like, are you going to take on this client? Are they going to be, especially in this market, are they going to be able to buy? How much money do they actually have? And some people like to keep that very close to the vest. And I'm like, I'm on your side. Like, I don't know how hard I have to fight for you unless I know how strong of a buyer you are. And so I try to be, I'm very transparent, but I also expect that from clients as well as friends.
Yeah, I think the hard thing with real estate was just trying to figure out, is this person like, because no one's this positive and genuine. Like,
no.
I think that's why I was so taken back by Dave. I'm like, nobody. I don't believe. I look for it. I look for cracks in people's personality where they just give up for like a second. But I haven't found it with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty genuine guy, but I have had people like call me. Last week I had this terrible call because I definitely have like my phone voice, and I'm like very cheerful and stuff, and some people were like, just cut the crap. Or they called me something. They called me, like, I've been called like a parasite. I've been called all these names, and I just like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Like, I'm kind of sarcastic. I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear when I dialed your number, and like, thank you so much.
Well, I think there's just levels, because there's like the car wash. I was like, yo, do they like tell you to be a Chick-fil-A employee right now? Like, calm down on this. Like,
I do say my pleasure a lot.
Well,
like, have you worked for Chick-fil-A?
Well, it's just like, hey, how are you doing today? I was like, yo, let's stop it. Like,
no.
But landing the ship, what would you say you watch this in like 10 years? What would you expect yourself to be? Either like real estate, comedy, family wise? Like, what's like one thing you want? Like 10 years for sure, that has to be it.
10 years, I'd like to be more set as far as like investments, and not have to do the rat race of, this is my yearly income. These are for the hours that I've worked. Like, I want definitely more passive income, and real estate is my plan for that, rental properties. But also like for comedy, I'd like to be, you know, headlining, or I've heard different people say like, well, I wouldn't consider myself a headliner, but I'm like a closer. I want to be like that top billing on most of the shows I do. Like I'm not a very cocky person. I am to a degree, but I still stay humble. Like I don't want to be like, no, I'm only taking this show if I'm number one on the flyer or whatever. Like,
no, there's definitely where it's just like Mary said when she went to feature, she like doesn't take guest spots.
Okay.
So just I don't know if she turns down. I'm not gonna say she does, but like she's like, yeah, well, it's like when you go to feature, you get like maybe less opportunities, but you get more time when you do get them. But so make it a one statement thing, one sentence statement. 10 years, what do you want?
10 years, I just want to be, I guess, more of a baller.
Fade to black.